If your eyesight feels slightly more blurred every morning after 60, it may not be random aging. It may be something far more specific happening inside your eyes right now, something most people are never told about until it becomes too late to easily reverse. What if the real issue isn't just weak vision, but a slow breakdown of the very molecule your eyes depend on to stay clear, focused, and protected from internal damage? And what if certain everyday seeds could actually help restore that protection in a measurable way, starting within days, not months? Inside your eyes, there is a critical antioxidant system that keeps the lens clear and flexible. As you get older, especially after 60, that system begins to weaken at a steady and predictable rate. The key molecule involved is glutathione, one of the most powerful natural defenders your body produces. It protects the lens of your eye from oxidative stress, which is a form of internal wear and tear caused by unstable molecules damaging delicate proteins. When glutathione levels drop, those proteins begin to clump together and the lens slowly loses transparency. This is not just needing stronger glasses. This is a structural change happening inside the eye itself. What makes this more concerning is that this process is usually silent. You don't feel it happening. You don't see it happening directly. You only notice the results later. Slightly foggy vision in the morning, more difficulty reading small text, halos around lights at night, or a general dullness in clarity. By the time most people recognize these symptoms, a significant portion of the protective antioxidant layer in the lens has already been lost. And in most routine eye exams, you are only told what has already changed, not how to slow or reverse the process. But here is where the perspective shifts. Research in nutritional ophthalmology suggests that this decline is not purely irreversible aging. It is strongly influenced by nutrient availability, especially compounds that support glutathione recycling and reduce oxidative stress in the eye. And surprisingly, some of the most effective sources of these compounds are not expensive supplements or rare medicinal plants. They are seeds you can find in almost any grocery store. Before going deeper, it is important to understand what is actually happening inside the lens. Over time, oxidative reactions begin to build up a process known as lipid peroxidation. These are small chain reactions that gradually damage the fats and proteins in eye tissue. Think of it like microscopic rust spreading inside a clear glass structure. You cannot feel it forming, but it slowly reduces clarity and sharpness. This is why vision often feels worse in low light or early in the morning when the eye has not fully adjusted. Doctors often recommend general advice like eating more carrots, wearing sunglasses, or taking multivitamins. While these can provide some support, they mostly address surface-level nutrition. They do not directly target the internal antioxidant system responsible for keeping the lens clear. That system depends heavily on compounds that support glutathione regeneration and reduce oxidative damage at the cellular level. This is where certain seeds become interesting, not because they are magical, but because they contain concentrated nutrients that interact directly with these biochemical pathways. Compounds like vitamin E, zinc, omega fatty acids, lignans, and phytochemicals all play roles in protecting eye tissue and supporting antioxidant function. When consumed correctly, some of these nutrients can improve how efficiently the eye handles oxidative stress. However, there is a critical detail most people overlook. The way these seeds are prepared determines how much your body actually absorbs. In many cases, improper preparation blocks nutrient absorption almost entirely. This means people believe they are eating eye-healthy foods, but are receiving only a fraction of the benefit. To understand the difference, researchers have studied multiple common seeds and their effects on ocular health markers. Some show minimal impact. Others show measurable improvement in antioxidant activity, tear stability, and even early indicators of lens clarity. The difference is not just in the seed itself, but in its nutrient density and bioavailability after digestion. Let's begin with two of the most commonly misunderstood examples. The first is sesame seeds. On paper, they look beneficial for eye health because they contain vitamin E, copper, and zinc nutrients associated with ocular protection. But clinical findings show their direct impact on lens antioxidant improvement is very limited. In controlled studies, improvements were minimal, suggesting that while sesame seeds provide supportive nutrition, they do not significantly influence the deeper repair processes inside the eye. There is also another issue that affects their effectiveness. Sesame seeds contain naturally occurring compounds that can reduce mineral absorption, meaning a portion of their beneficial nutrients may never fully enter the bloodstream unless properly prepared. This is why simple consumption without preparation often leads to disappointing results. Even though they are affordable and easy to find, their real impact on vision health is modest at best. The second example is pumpkin seeds. These are often marketed as powerful for overall health, and nutritionally, they are richer than sesame seeds in certain key minerals, especially zinc. Zinc is important for eye function because it supports enzyme systems involved in retinal health. Pumpkin seeds also contain lutein-related compounds that contribute to eye protection. However, studies show that while pumpkin seeds can improve general eye health markers, their effect on direct lens repair is still relatively limited and slow. They may support maintenance rather than active restoration. Another major issue is that many people consume them in raw or packaged form without considering absorption barriers, which significantly reduces their real nutritional impact. Preparation plays a crucial role here. Without proper soaking or treatment, mineral absorption remains incomplete, meaning the body only receives a portion of the intended benefits. Even when prepared correctly, the improvements tend to be gradual rather than rapid, making them better suited for long-term support rather than noticeable short-term vision changes. At this point, one thing becomes clear. Not all seeds contribute equally to eye repair, and not all nutrients reach your eyes effectively unless preparation and combination are done correctly. Some seeds offer basic support, while others begin to actively influence the biochemical environment of the eye in more noticeable ways. And this is just the beginning. As we move forward, the differences between these seeds become even more significant, especially when we look at how certain combinations begin to influence inflammation, tear production, and even early structural changes in the lens itself. In the next section, we go deeper into seeds that begin to actively change how your eyes feel and function on a daily basis, starting with those that influence inflammation and retinal stability in a way most people never expect. Continuing from where we left off, the focus now shifts from basic nutritional support to seeds that begin to actively influence how your eyes feel and function in everyday life, especially in terms of dryness, irritation, and early signs of visual fatigue that often appear long before serious decline becomes visible. One of the most overlooked but scientifically interesting options is hemp seeds. Unlike many popular superfoods that get attention through marketing rather than biology, hemp seeds stand out because of their natural balance of essential fatty acids. The human eye, especially the retina, is highly dependent on the right ratio of omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. When this balance is disrupted, which is extremely common in modern diets, inflammation begins to develop slowly in sensitive eye tissues. This inflammation does not cause sudden pain or warning signs. Instead, it shows up as dryness, mild irritation, slower focus adjustment, and a general feeling that your eyes are not as fresh as they used to be. Hemp seeds are unique because they naturally contain an almost ideal fatty acid ratio, often described as close to 3 parts omega, 6 to 1 part omega-3. This balance is important because it helps reduce the inflammatory load placed on retinal cells. When inflammation decreases, the eye becomes more stable in how it handles light and moisture. This is why some nutritional studies have observed noticeable improvements in ocular comfort when hemp seeds are consumed consistently over several weeks. In controlled nutritional research, regular intake of hemp seeds has been linked with reductions in inflammatory markers associated with eye strain. While the changes are not immediate in terms of structural repair, many individuals report feeling less dryness and irritation within a short period of consistent use. This is particularly relevant for older adults who often experience reduced tear production and increased sensitivity in the eyes upon waking. Another important advantage of hemp seeds is their simplicity of use. Unlike many other seeds that require grinding, soaking, or careful preparation to unlock their nutrients, hemp seeds can be consumed directly. This makes them one of the most practical options for daily use. Their mild, nutty taste also allows them to be easily added to yogurt, salads, or smoothies without altering flavor significantly. However, even with hemp seeds, consistency is essential. Occasional use does not produce the same effect as daily intake because the body needs continuous nutrient support to maintain stable fatty acid balance in eye tissues. While hemp seeds work mainly through inflammation control, the next category introduces a more complex mechanism involving retinal structure and tear film stability. This is where chia seeds begin to stand out, but only when used correctly. On their own, chia seeds are often misunderstood. Many people consume them whole, expecting full nutritional benefits, but in reality, whole chia seeds often pass through the digestive system without fully releasing their omega-3 content. The key nutrient in chia seeds is alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid that the body can convert into DHA. DHA is extremely important for the retina, as it forms a large portion of retinal cell membranes. Without enough DHA, the retina becomes less efficient at processing light signals, which can contribute to slower visual response and increased sensitivity to glare. However, the conversion of alpha-linolenic acid into DHA is not highly efficient in the human body. This is why preparation and pairing become critical. When chia seeds are ground, their surface area increases significantly, allowing better nutrient absorption. Additionally, combining them with a fat source, such as coconut oil, enhances the absorption of fat-soluble compounds, improving how effectively these nutrients reach retinal tissue. When studied under controlled conditions, properly prepared chia seeds have been associated with improvements in tear film stability. This is important because tear film is the first protective layer of the eye. When it becomes unstable, symptoms like burning, stinging, and blurred vision during blinking begin to appear. Strengthening tear film stability does not just improve comfort, it directly enhances visual clarity throughout the day. Some individuals report noticeable improvements in dryness within just a few days of consistent intake, although deeper structural benefits, especially related to retinal function, take longer to develop. This difference between short-term comfort and long-term repair is important to understand because many people expect immediate visual transformation, when in reality, biological systems require sustained nutrient support over time. Moving further along the spectrum, flax seeds introduce a more concentrated form of plant-based omega-3 fatty acids. In fact, flax seeds are among the richest natural sources of alpha-linolenic acid available in food form. When properly ground, they release a dense nutritional profile that supports both eye moisture balance and oxidative stress reduction. However, flax seeds come with a critical condition. They must be freshly ground. Whole flax seeds are largely indigestible, meaning the majority of their nutrients remain locked inside unless the seed coat is broken. Once ground, though, their nutritional impact becomes significantly more bioavailable. At this stage, the body can begin to utilize their omega-3 content more effectively, especially when paired with healthy fats that enhance absorption. Research in nutritional ophthalmology has shown that diets rich in ground flax seeds can contribute to improved tear production and reduced oxidative stress markers in eye tissues. This is particularly important for older adults, where tear production naturally declines with age. When tear production improves, even slightly, the overall comfort and clarity of vision can change noticeably throughout the day. What makes flax seeds especially interesting is how quickly some individuals begin to notice changes. While structural improvements in the lens take longer, changes in dryness and visual comfort can appear within days to weeks of consistent intake. However, the long-term effectiveness depends heavily on discipline, Inconsistent use reduces the cumulative benefit, and oxidized or pre-ground flax seeds lose much of their potency before they even reach your body. At this point, a clear pattern begins to emerge. Hemp seeds primarily reduce inflammation. Chia seeds improve retinal fatty acid support when prepared correctly, and flax seeds provide a dense source of omega, 3 compounds that influence tear production and oxidative stress. Each seed works differently, but all contribute to different aspects of eye health rather than acting as a single solution. Yet, despite these benefits, none of these seeds alone represent the most powerful intervention in this entire nutritional framework. There are still combinations and specific nutrient interactions that produce significantly stronger effects on lens clarity and oxidative repair. In the next section, we move into seeds that not only support eye function, but begin to directly influence the biochemical environment inside the lens itself, where the most critical changes in vision clarity actually occur. Building on what we've uncovered so far, we now move into a more advanced stage of eye nutrition, where certain seeds don't just support comfort or reduce irritation, but begin to influence the deeper biological environment inside the eye, especially the lens and its ability to resist oxidative damage over time. At this stage, the focus shifts from general inflammation control and tear stability toward direct antioxidant activity inside eye tissues. This is where preparation, nutrient pairing, and absorption efficiency become far more important than most people realize, because even the most powerful nutrients are ineffective if they never fully reach the cells that need them. One of the key combinations that begins to stand out here involves ground chia seeds when paired with a fat source like coconut oil. On its own, chia provides a rich source of alpha-linolenic acid, a plant-based omega, 3 fatty acid that serves as a precursor to DHA. DHA is not just important, it is a structural component of the retina itself. Without adequate DHA, retinal cell membranes lose flexibility, which can affect how efficiently light signals are processed. However, the body's ability to convert alpha-linolenic acid into DHA is limited and highly dependent on metabolic efficiency. This means that simply eating chia seeds without preparation does not guarantee meaningful retinal benefits. The real transformation begins when the seeds are ground, which breaks the outer shell and allows the body to access the internal oils more effectively. Once ground, the nutrients become significantly more available for digestion and absorption. When combined with a healthy fat source such as coconut oil, absorption improves further because omega-3 compounds are fat soluble. This means they require dietary fat to be properly transported through the digestive system. Without this step, a large portion of the beneficial compounds may pass through the body without being fully utilized. Clinical nutritional research has shown that properly prepared chia seeds, when consumed consistently, can improve tear film stability and reduce symptoms associated with dry eye. Tear film is essential because it acts as the first optical surface of the eye, responsible for smooth light entry and clear vision. When this layer becomes unstable, even minor disruptions can lead to blurred vision, burning sensations, and increased sensitivity to light. Improvements in tear film stability may be noticed relatively quickly in some individuals, sometimes within days of consistent intake. However, deeper structural benefits related to retinal support take longer to develop and depend heavily on consistency over time. This difference between immediate comfort and long-term cellular support is critical to understanding how nutritional interventions actually work in vision health. As we move further into more potent options, flax seeds reappear in a more clinically significant role, particularly when freshly ground. Unlike chia, flax seeds contain an even higher concentration of alpha-linolenic acid per serving, making them one of the most powerful plant-based sources of omega-3 fatty acids available in everyday diets. But here again, preparation determines effectiveness. Whole flax seeds are largely resistant to digestion. Their hard outer shell prevents most of the nutrients from being absorbed if consumed directly. Grinding them immediately before consumption changes everything. Once the seed is broken down, the internal oils are released, making the omega omega-3 content accessible to the body in a way that can actually influence biological processes. When paired with a healthy fat source such as avocado, flax seeds demonstrate significantly improved absorption. Avocado contains monounsaturated fats that enhance the bioavailability of fat-soluble nutrients. This means that more of the omega-3 compounds can reach circulation and eventually support eye tissues, including the retina and lens. Studies in nutritional science have linked regular intake of freshly ground flax seeds with improvements in tear production and reductions in oxidative stress markers. These two factors are especially important for aging eyes, where natural tear production declines and oxidative damage accumulates more rapidly over time. What makes flax seeds particularly relevant is their potential impact on both comfort and structural resilience. In practical terms, this means less dryness during the day, improved visual stability in changing light conditions, and better resistance to the slow oxidative processes that contribute to long-term lens clouding. However, even with flax seeds, there is still a limitation. While they provide strong antioxidant support and fatty acid delivery, they do not directly optimize vitamin regeneration systems inside the eye. This is where the next stage of nutritional intervention becomes more biologically advanced, involving nutrients that actively recycle antioxidants within eye tissue rather than just supplying them. At this point, we begin to see a clear hierarchy forming among seeds. Some primarily reduce inflammation, others support tear film, stability, and a select few begin to influence the oxidative balance inside the eye at a deeper biochemical level. But none of them alone fully maximize the regeneration systems responsible for maintaining long-term lens clarity. This is why researchers often emphasize nutrient synergy rather than isolated intake. The eye does not rely on a single compound for protection. It depends on multiple interacting systems working together. When these systems are supported simultaneously through well-structured nutrition, the effects become more noticeable over time. In the next section, we move into the most clinically powerful seed-based approach discussed in this entire framework. This involves not only antioxidant delivery, but also regeneration of key protective molecules inside the eye itself, where the most meaningful changes in vision clarity begin to occur